Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? We're looking at AI and data centers again, specifically this project called Stargate.
Right.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So we found this Korean news article from AI Times,
Okay.
dated January 25th, 2025.
Uh-huh.
The title's a bit of a mouthful, but it translates to something like Stargate and OpenAI and Microsoft and Oracle.
Lots of big names.
Yeah, get this. There's a massive investment involved, like potentially hundreds of billions of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah, and there are hints that OpenAI and Microsoft might be drifting apart a little.
Interesting.
And Oracle's trying to get in on the action, too.
This Stargate project, it really does seem like it has the potential to change everything we know about AI and cloud computing.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Sure.
What exactly is this Stargate thing?
Well, it's basically a U.S.-based initiative to build a network of data centers.
Data centers?
Yeah, data centers across America.
Okay.
And these data centers, they're going to be like the foundation for the future of AI. It's just the idea. Anyway.
So who's behind it?
Well, it's a pretty impressive group. OpenAI, Microsoft, Oracle, and SoftBank.
Wow, that's quite a lineup.
It is.
You mentioned a massive investment. How massive are we talking?
$500 billion.
$500 billion?
Potentially, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it's not just an idea. They're throwing money at that.
Right.
The first data center is already being built.
Where?
In Abilene, Texas.
Abilene, Texas. I've heard of that.
It's going to be huge.
How huge?
Like 3.54 million square meters.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. That's like the size of Central Park, right?
It is. Yeah, practically the same size.
And this whole thing's going to be powered by solar energy.
Well, potentially.
Virtually.
Yeah, SoftBank's subsidiary, SB Energy, they're the ones who might be powering it.
That's pretty amazing if they pull it off.
It is.
Okay, but I gotta ask, why are data centers such a big deal?
Well, think about everything we do online.
Sure.
Streaming movies, sending emails, shopping, all of it.
Okay.
It all relies on data centers.
Right.
But with AI becoming more and more powerful, the demand for computing power is just skyrocketing.
Okay, I see.
These AI models, they need massive amounts of data and processing power to work properly.
Like ChatGPT.
Exactly, like ChatGPT.
Got it.
So Stargate, it's all about providing that power, but on a scale we've never seen before.
So it's like building a superhighway for AI.
Exactly, a superhighway for AI.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But you said OpenAI is at the heart of this. Didn't they start out as a kind of a small player?
They did, yeah.
So how did they become the driving force behind something as massive as Stargate?
It's a really interesting story, actually.
Okay, tell me more.
Just a couple of years ago, they were making a splash with ChatGPT.
Right, I remember that.
But they were still heavily reliant on Microsoft for funding and resources.
So how did they go from that to spearheading a project like Stargate?
Well, they've been incredibly smart about forming partnerships.
Partnerships.
Yeah, not just with Microsoft, but with companies like Oracle and SoftBank as well.
So they've got the brains and the allies.
Yeah, you could say that.
But what about Microsoft? They've poured a lot of resources into OpenAI.
They have.
Aren't they feeling a little left out now that OpenAI is branching out and making new friends?
That's a good question, and there's definitely some speculation that Microsoft might be a little uneasy about it.
Uneasy how?
Well, I mean, Microsoft has benefited hugely from OpenAI.
Yeah, ChatGPT put them on the map in a big way.
Exactly, ChatGPT and all those large language models.
And their cloud platform, Azure?
Right, Azure has become the go-to platform for AI development.
So why the rift now?
Well, you got to remember, Microsoft invested heavily in OpenAI.
Yeah.
Not just money, but computing power through Azure.
So they're probably wondering if their investment is still paying off.
Yeah, especially with OpenAI branching out and forming new partnerships.
So it's like Microsoft's thinking, hey, we helped you get this big, and now you're going to go play with other companies.
Something like that.
That's got to sting a little.
And it's not just about pride.
What do you mean?
Microsoft has their own ambitions in the AI space. They've got Mustafa Suleyman leading their AI efforts now.
Who's that?
He's their new AI CEO.
Okay.
And he's very focused on developing Microsoft's own AI models.
So could this be the start of like a tech showdown, Microsoft versus OpenAI?
It's definitely possible. Too early to say for sure.
Okay, so you have OpenAI making power moves, Microsoft maybe feeling a little threatened.
Yeah.
Where does Oracle fit into all of this?
Good question.
They're not exactly known for being a major player in AI.
True, but they've been trying to break into the big three of the cloud market for a while now.
The big three.
Yeah, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google.
Oh, right, right.
And they see Stargate as their chance to finally make it.
But isn't the cloud market incredibly hard to crack?
It is, but they're betting that Stargate will give them the boost they need.
How so?
It's all about the infrastructure. These data centers that Stargate's building, they're going to be top of the line.
And Oracle's hoping to attract new customers with all that AI firepower.
Exactly.
But can they really compete with Amazon and Microsoft?
Only time will tell. But they're definitely making a bold move by aligning themselves with OpenAI and this whole Stargate project.
This is getting really interesting. We've got these tech giants maneuvering for position, alliances shifting, and the stakes are incredibly high.
They are.
Let's take a quick break to process all this. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back and trying to figure out just what Stargate means for, well, will we even notice a difference in our everyday lives?
Oh, you'll notice.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it might seem like just a bunch of tech companies doing their thing, but Stargate will eventually have an impact on pretty much every aspect of our lives.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Think about all the advancements we've seen in AI just in the last couple of years.
Like what?
Well, things like ChatGPT, those large language models.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty impressive.
They are.
Did you remind me what those are again?
Sure. Basically, they're AI systems that are trained on massive amounts of text data.
Okay.
And they can do all sorts of things like generate text, translate languages.
Oh, wow.
Write different kinds of creative content, answer your questions.
Right, right. So they're already doing some pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, but to do all that, they need a lot of computing power.
I see.
And that's where Stargate comes in.
Okay, so Stargate's going to give them even more power.
Exactly. More data, more computing power on a scale we've never seen before.
And what does that mean for us?
Well, it means even faster progress in AI.
Okay.
Which means new products, new services, things that'll touch every part of our lives.
So like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, how about even more sophisticated AI assistants?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Personalized healthcare, smarter transportation systems?
Are we talking self-driving cars that actually work?
Maybe, yeah, that's definitely on the table.
Wow.
But it goes beyond just convenience and entertainment.
Okay.
AI could help us solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Really?
Yeah, like finding cures for diseases, developing sustainable energy solutions.
Interesting.
Maybe even combating climate change.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
But there's got to be some downsides, right? What about all the talk about AI taking our jobs?
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
It is.
As AI gets more capable, some jobs will definitely be automated.
I mean, we're already seeing that in some industries.
We are, yeah, like manufacturing and customer service. It's important that we start thinking now about how we're going to adapt to those changes.
I agree.
And how we're going to prepare for the workforce of the future.
Right. So what else should we be worried about?
Well, there's also the potential for misuse.
Misuse how?
Like AI being used to create deep fakes, spread misinformation.
Oh, yeah, that's scary.
Or even to develop autonomous weapons.
Okay, now that's really scary.
Yeah, it's important that we have open and honest discussions about the ethical implications of all this.
I think so, too.
We need to develop guidelines, regulations, things like that.
To make sure AI is used for good and not for evil.
Exactly.
So it's not just about building these amazing data centers.
Right.
It's also about thinking about the consequences.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about the good and the bad, but let's not forget about OpenAI.
Right.
They're playing a pretty big role in all of this.
They are.
How did they become so influential?
Well, they've done a fantastic job of positioning themselves at the center of this whole Stargate initiative.
But they were the underdog, weren't they?
They were. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, I remember when ChatGPT first came out, it was impressive, but I never would have guessed they'd be orchestrating something like Stargate just a couple years later.
Yeah, it's remarkable how quickly they've risen to prominence.
So how'd they do it? What's their secret?
Well, for one thing, they're incredibly talented.
Yeah, they've got some of the best AI researchers in the world.
Exactly. Their AI models, ChatGPT, and all its successors, they've really shown what AI is capable of.
So they've got the brains, but that's not all, right?
No, they've also been very strategic about their partnerships.
We talked about that earlier.
Right. By teaming up with companies like Microsoft, Oracle, and SoftBank, they've secured all the resources they need to make their vision a reality.
So it's like they've assembled this dream team of tech giants to help them achieve their goals.
Yeah, pretty much.
But isn't that a bit of a risky strategy? I mean, these partners are also their biggest rivals.
It is definitely a dangerous game they're playing.
But they seem to be doing a pretty good job of it so far.
They are. They've managed to maintain a surprising degree of control over the whole thing.
What makes you say that?
Look at their collaboration with Oracle on those data centers.
Yeah.
That's a direct challenge to Microsoft's dominance in the cloud market.
That's true.
It's like they're saying, hey, we appreciate the investment, Microsoft, but we're not going to be your puppet.
Wow, that's pretty bold.
It is, and it's attracting a lot of attention.
So OpenAI is calling the shots for now?
It seems like it, but the AI landscape is constantly changing.
Right.
There are other big players out there, Google, Meta, Amazon.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to just sit back and watch OpenAI take over.
Exactly. They all have their own AI initiative, their own ambitions.
So who do you think will ultimately emerge as the leader in this whole AI revolution?
It's hard to say, really.
Yeah.
I think the future of AI is going to be shaped by both collaboration and competition.
So we're going to see a lot more of these alliances forming and shifting.
I think so. And probably some new players emerging as the technology keeps evolving.
This is getting more and more complicated.
It is, but it's also what makes it so exciting.
Okay, so it's not about one company controlling AI.
Right.
It's more about this ongoing evolution, this kind of dance between all these powerful forces.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, this constant back and forth between collaboration and competition.
And we're all just along for the ride.
I guess so.
Buckle up. It's going to be a wild one.
It definitely will be.
So we spent a lot of time talking about this Stargate project.
We have.
And honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing, right? OpenAI's leading the way. Microsoft might be feeling a little jealous.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story.
And Oracle's trying to use it to become a major player in the cloud market.
It's definitely a high-stakes game with some really interesting players.
And speaking of players, OpenAI has really taken everyone by surprise, haven't they?
They have.
They started out as the little guy in all this, but they've managed to secure a really powerful position for themselves.
It's quite remarkable.
How did they do it?
Well, they've been very clever in their approach.
Okay.
They've shown just how powerful their AI models are.
Right, ChatGPT and all that.
Exactly.
They've also been very strategic about forming the right partnerships.
That's key.
Yeah, they've got Microsoft, Oracle, SoftBank.
It's like they've created a win-win situation for everyone involved.
Well, maybe not everyone if you consider how Microsoft might be feeling about it all.
True, that's the fascinating part of all this.
What do you mean?
OpenAI has managed to position themselves as the essential partner in this massive project, but they've also maintained a surprising degree of independence.
So they're not just doing Microsoft's bidding?
No, not at all. Look at their decision to partner with Oracle on those data centers.
Right, that was a big move.
It was, and it was a direct challenge to Microsoft's dominance in the cloud market.
Yeah, it's like they were saying, hey, we appreciate your money, Microsoft, but we're not going to be your puppets.
Exactly. It was a very bold move.
And it seems to have paid off.
It has. Other companies, other investors, they're all starting to see OpenAI as a major force in the AI world.
So is that their ultimate goal? To be the one calling the shots in the AI world?
Maybe, but the AI landscape is constantly shifting.
Yeah, that's true.
There are other big players out there, Google, Meta, Amazon.
Right. They can't be happy about OpenAI's rise.
I'm sure they're not. They all have their own ambitions, their own AI projects in the works.
So what's going to happen? Who's going to come out on top?
It's impossible to say for sure, but I don't think it's going to be a winner-take-all situation.
So what are you thinking?
I think the future of AI is going to be shaped by a combination of collaboration and competition.
So we'll see companies working together sometimes,
Right.
but also fighting for dominance at other times.
Exactly. It'll be this constant back and forth, this dance between these powerful forces.
And the stakes are incredibly high.
They are. The future of AI, potentially the future of humanity, is at stake.
This is all pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, and it's what makes this whole story so fascinating to follow.
We've talked about the Stargate project, the companies involved, the potential benefits and risks of AI. What's the main takeaway here? What should our listeners be thinking about?
I think the biggest takeaway is that we're still in the very early stages of this AI revolution.
Okay.
Things are changing rapidly, new developments are happening all the time.
So what can we do?
Stay informed, keep asking questions, be part of the conversation.
That's good advice.
It's important that we all engage with this technology thoughtfully and responsibly.
Because it's going to affect all of us.
It will, whether we like it or not.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Stargate and AI.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us.
Couldn't have said it better myself.